Good to go.
All right.
On. This time I get to see when you're actually recording.
Yeah, at least for the sound.
Star Wars Legends of the Force, Episode 1, Chapter 11 The Oncoming Fleet. So it begins. Our heroes journey forth to stop Admiral Various and his fleet from destroying the refugee world of Thela. With the help of Master Kairanu, Dakaya, the Gambler, and others, the heroes have come a long way in a short span of time. Now all that they have learned will be tested. The outcome is unknown, yet as long as the heroes stay true to the cause and each other, hope still prevails. Okay, so when we last left off, each of you had made arrangements, um, and did a few things and had a nice dinner together and talked before going to bed. Uh, you were told that you would be awoken in the early morning, when the gambler's ship was ready to depart, and he would take you to the fleet of Admiral Various, which is now on its way, roughly about 4 days away from the planet of Thela. As each of you are, each of your rooms are buzzed, um, and you are told that the ship is ready to depart. Uh, you each come to consciousness and fulfill your daily routines. Those of you that slept throughout the night. Um, Pakaz, I believe you were doing some mechanical stuff.
Yes. Oh no. That is bad.
Uh-oh.
Hey, could be worse. It's not a natural
Better
one.
than his roll from
Yeah.
last time.
The first one.
All right.
I mean, better, but still. Anyway, you can continue saying what you were saying. I'll deal with that after you finish dealing with everyone else.
That's fine. All right, so Pakaz, I want you to make 3 mechanics checks. All right. So, not too bad. There wasn't anything major, as you quickly figured out that they wouldn't let you into anything that was too important. Um, but several of the gambling machines were on the fritz. You could tell that some of them were uh, were being too generous to their customers, while others just didn't work. Um, and as you kind of went around and made worked with the mechanics and stuff, you sort of figured out through conversation and stuff that they've had uh, kind of light staffed as of late. Maybe 2 mechanics are on duty at all times, which is rather small for an establishment like this. But you've learned that uh, more emphasis has been placed on security and military, and so some of the money that should be going to staffing and stuff has been less of late. But they're really grateful for your help, and in addition, because you did so well, they give you 400 credits out of their mechanics fund as a sort of uh, bonus offering for being helpful towards them.
Because it's really grateful. And then he proceeds to go back to his bed and pass out and forget, instead of force transing and forgetting about that.
Oh yeah. How much hit points do you recover from sleep?
I believe you regain them all.
Yeah, it's like 8 uninterrupted hours. You get it all back.
Well, I don't think I'll get 8 interrupted hours.
Well, no, you guys all get it back. It's we're considering this a long rest, so you'll all get your hit points back.
Yay!
All right, so as you all come to consciousness, various people have various things they want to accomplish before moving on. One of those people being Ajax.
Yep, Ajax gonna head back to that shop.
Go pounding on that door.
You know, Picasso is probably going to that same shop, thinking about how he just made money.
All right. So,
I need to pull up a list, though.
Kareth, as you return to Ankia's Emporium,
You mean Kylar?
I'm sorry, Kylar, yes. As you return, you are greeted with the same force field that you were the night before. Shop still says it's closed, and you can't seem to find any sign of the owner.
Oh dear.
Yeah, he's just gonna sit there.
Picasso is just going to sit there still looking like he's in a bad mood with him.
All right. While you two sulk, Shilu, you go to find your master, and you find instead a data pad with a note. And the note is from your master, and he says that he left earlier this morning. He found he was managed to make transportation to not directly to Manon, but to some nearby planets, and eventually get there. He wishes you well and encourages you to keep an open mind and keep your eyes peeled. All right. Ayland and Kalani, what are you guys going to do?
Trying to figure that part out.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Probably once I get breakfast, look around.
Ellen will probably go find Dakaya.
Okay. Easy enough. When you ask the guards, they tell you that she's right now outside of the hangar bay, making some final preparations. They point you to sort of an underground tunnel, which leads to what you gather to be some sort of underground hidden hangar bay. And she is outside, messing around with a couple consoles with the data pad in her hand.
Ellen will approach her slowly. Alas.
Good morning, Ayland.
Oh, good morning. I was gonna ask you real quick. How much of the cube did you end up seeing yesterday, or over the past couple of days?
You mean of your memories, of your visions?
Oh, that be it?
She pauses what she's doing. She bites her lip and then looks to you. Probably more than you would like.
That's about what I figured.
Don't be too harsh on him, though. That cube, that box, is how this place is still up and running. It's an oddity. People are excited to see someone else's troubles. Being able to bet on them is even better.
Well, I have no issue with them doing that. I'm just... I wanted to confirm and make sure a few things, at least from my point of view. Since you got to see some of them, some of my memories, I do hope you see at least some of the reason why. Uh, I've pretty much decided to protect you as best as I can, as much as that is.
She pauses and considers what you say. It makes sense. You act very much like Ramai does. I guess I can understand it. It's a little difficult for me being, well, a Sith. I've been taught independence my entire life. It's strange letting others protect you, but I do understand.
Alright then, lass. Then I do want to ask a few questions. Do you know of any Echani who might have green hair? You could tell because I'm guessing you saw from my point of view what I saw in the cube.
Of course. I can't say that I have. The only Achani I know are Ramai and his father, and I only knew his father, well, I only met him once. Both of them, well, his father had white hair. Ramai gets his black hair from his mother. Other than that, I'm sorry, I've never met one.
Oh, that's alright, lass. I was just trying to see what in the world is going on. Ever since Ramai mentioned the Echani, it's been nagging at me. I just have to investigate this since you do look a lot like Elora.
I suppose I do. Didn't really occur to me at the time.
Other than the hair, y'all are very, very similar. Let's put it that way.
Well, if it will put your minds at ease, I do not know of a sister of any kind in my lineage.
That's alright. I'm just trying to figure out what in the world this puzzle means. It's just part of who I am, the investigator part, I suppose. Especially since I have devoted so much of my life to try to bring justice to her and her family.
Ah, pardon me for what might seem as a, well, superior question, but this must be more confusing to you, not being in tune with the Force the way that I am and some of your companions are. The Force can be strange to those who see it as a outside force.
Oh, you have no idea. Which is kind of why I suppose I acted the way I did, at least in my particular challenge. Those memories, they're not the same as what I remember, but the actual
They were
details.
real.
Oh yes, very much so. My entire goal in that entire situation was to get her out, and things didn't go like I'd wanted, that's for sure.
I do not know what the Jedi do in their training, but Sith go through many such visions. Caves and places of dark side energy. They often play upon our minds and our fears. But it's not to destroy us, as many outsiders would think. It's more to challenge us, to teach us that fear is a perfectly natural emotion, but it must be controlled. In some ways, I think the box was teaching you something similar. Perhaps not fear, but teaching you to control something or face something that may come at a later time. Much of the dark side is that way. It's about learning control.
Oh, that I can tell. The the shadow you saw. I know him very well. Let's just say.
I surmise that you did. Most of us do, in our own way.
Except I see him every time I close my eyes, and I couldn't help Alora out of that explosion. But thank you for answering my questions. I was just curious as to see how deep this rabbit hole went, so to say. This puzzle is very big, at least for me.
Of course. If there's anything else I can help you with, I am happy to. Oh, before you go, I did have a question for you, and it may seem curious.
Not at all. I came to ask you a question. I suppose it'd be fair if you got to ask me one.
Have you had dealings with Ankia, the store owner in the bar?
Just a little. Not much. I helped Ajak out with a purchase or two, and then I got some repairs to my coat.
Though she came to Rabai earlier, asking for the exact time of when you would depart, saying that something about not opening the store until you do. It's only curious.
That's quite strange, but you know, it may have something to do with Ajak. I know he halfway upset her for a little while, but I, I don't see how. I mean, Ajak is Ajak. Unless she's scared to death of Mandalorians who sneeze.
Ah, well. Ankia has never seen a Mandalorian before, but she has some cousins that were killed in the war. Her family's perpetrated a bit of fear.
That would make sense. When she found out he was a Mandalorian, she was apprehensive, shall we say.
And she's young, and she's learned that all kinds are welcome here at the Regen. But yes, in the future, you might have warned your friend that such identity should be kept to a minimum, if they can be.
I'll try to remember that. Although as a player, I sit back and say, I wonder if I should actually remember that or not. Sorry, Kylar, but seeing you suffer like this is just kind of funny. Nothing against you or anything, but it's kind of funny.
No, it's gonna be fun.
Just don't blow the place up. And well, I hope that this I was able to at least help. Do you need any more help around here?
No.
I've got a little bit of training on stuff.
No, thank you. I think we're pretty well settled. Just be sure your friends are here within the hour. Ramai would like to leave fairly promptly.
Alright, that sounds right. That sounds fine. I'll go see if I can't round them up then. Just to make sure we're all here and on time.
Very well. I shall see you shortly.
Good day, lass. And Aelin will then commence to go around and seeing if you can't round people up.
All right. Kalani, were you doing anything in that hour?
General looking around this strange place and strange people, and a little bit nervously still,
Okay.
I suppose, but
Make a perception check.
I'm also thinking to use the force check to sense the dark side, just trying to figure these people out.
Okay. All right. Not bad. Not bad. All right. As far as perception, you notice fairly quickly that as you're eating dinner or breakfast, trying not to draw too much attention to yourself, you still get looks. There are people that are looking back at you, and it's not unsurprising. You've dealt with this most of your life outside of the Jedi, but they don't. It's not like they're penetratingly looking at you. There's a casual glance of like, oh, that's interesting, and then they go back to what they're doing. It's very interesting to you though, in that this is probably one of the more racially diverse places you've seen in Korriban. Most of the place in Dreshte, almost everywhere you went, there were humans, a great deal of humans, with maybe one or two aliens sparse. This place is very mixed, both in race, in color, and in attire. But what you do notice different from the other place is that there's a significant presence of these sun warriors who are all in this golden armor, and although they don't, you can tell the patrons aren't afraid of them. There's a lot more than you think would be in just for security for a place for like an outlaw den like this. As far as the force, you feel them out. Most of the people are surprisingly fairly neutral in the force. There's not a lot of light to them, but it's not as dark as you're expecting. There are a few, of course, that you can tell are darksiders, but they don't seem to pay you any mind. But it's in this place is for being in the on the planet of Caravan. It's different in that the dark side is not as prevalent, but neither is the light side. It's sort of like a neutral zone, and strong emotions, while they are there, they're not you can't feel them as keenly as you could when you were very near the Jedi Academy and the weight of the dark side was next to you. Here it's fairly
Sith
remote and
Academy, I
unattached.
think you mean?
Yes, Sith Academy. The only real significant force entity that you can feel is the box, but that is not unexpected to you.
Hmm.
All right, so as Barry begins to round you all up, he comes to Kakaz and Ajak, who are still standing outside of the shop shield.
Oh, well, hello, you two.
Hi.
I was come to let you all know that we probably should go ahead and meet up at the hangar. The ship, Ramai wants to leave as soon as he possibly can, which, being punctual and all, I can understand.
I need to buy something first. I'll have to wait until the store opens.
I'm not exactly certain it's going to open, at least for a while.
Why?
What do you mean?
Well, to put it bluntly, I think the store owner is probably not going to open until after we're gone.
Why wouldn't she open?
Probably because she might be a little afraid of a certain person. I'm sorry, lad. I'm trying to be gentle about it, but there's no real way to put it. There's no real way to be gentle about it. She's afraid of you as a Mandalorian.
Maybe she's more afraid of me figuring out that she had been trying to dig into my personal files on my data pad.
Possibly, but she's also suffered loss at the hand of the Mandalorians during the war.
You know, I don't care what her personal opinion of me is, but it's not good business practice to be digging around in your client's data pads.
Well, that I agree, but again, it's a situation of where she probably will not open until after we're gone.
Kaz looks really annoyed.
I can try to maybe sweet talk her, but I wouldn't expect any miracles.
You think she'd come here if the force field suddenly shut down?
Lad, if the force field suddenly shut down, she may call the cops on you, or at least whatever equates to the law enforcement around here on you.
You mean the Sun Guard? Who worked for
Yeah,
the guy who we're going to do something for?
Still, they may not take too kindly to you shutting down the force field.
How are they going to know it was me? Are you going to tell them?
Because there's two people here who cannot use the force and one who can.
How,
Only a
how are they
process of
going to How are they
elimination.
going to know why the force field shut down in the first place?
Because Ajak and I will be long gone.
Well, it depends on who shows up as whether or not I leave. I need to have some words about her business practices.
Besides, who says I need to use the force?
Again, I can try to sweet talk. I can ask Remy or Remi as well if she so desire, but I'm afraid she's probably not going to come here to the store until after we leave.
It's about this time that some of the sun guards and their golden armor start walking up to you, and one of them says, "Hey, I do something for you?"
Yeah, we're looking for the store owner.
Can't you read the sign? It's closed.
Well, my friend here was trying to push something before we go out with your leader to save some people, so we were just wondering if she was planning on opening at some point.
I don't know about that. You'll have to ask him. For now, the store's closed and you're loitering. His wisdom is slowly climbing.
Dude, it was doing it.
Wow.
It was doing it linearly before. That jumped now.
Yeah, it was doing one. One.
It
point
literally
at
was
a
increasing by
time.
ones before.
With each word, she gets a little wiser.
Maybe someone should do a persuade check on me, quick.
Aelin will put his hand on Ajak's shoulder. Easy now, lad. We've got other things to do anyways. I'm certain she'll answer your questions given time.
Oh yeah, that'll probably work. Ajak will just storm off angrily towards the hangar.
Pegasus still stands there for a second.
Come on, lad. You may need something, but we've also got a thing. We've also got our mission to complete.
Yeah, that's kind of why I needed something.
Well, if you want, we can swing by Remy's office if he's in and see if he can help you out.
Well, he does run the Sun Guard. They might be able to just give me some of what I need. Or I could just give him money for them. Who knows? Okay, fine. Because moves to follow Elon.
The Sun Guard retreat back to their post, but they keep an eye on you guys as you leave.
Sorry about that, lads. Y'all have a good day now.
They just sort of give you a glare.
Alan waves at them with his trademark smirk/smile. It just kind of goes, bye.
Because is really tempted to teleport an orange-sized object on top of one of their heads.
That would be an impulsive dark side move, so good luck.
Not a Jedi.
Yeah, if he didn't get dark side points for the other things, I don't think that dropping something on someone's head that would get him a dark side point.
Depends on how good he rolls and how much damage it does.
Very true.
Orange, directly like an inch or two above their heads. It would just.
You can do some pretty amazing things. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility you roll a natural 20 and that orange turns into a bullet. Just saying.
No, that's with move object, fold space.
It could happen.
He just moves it there and gravity does the rest from a couple inches.
That and,
Yeah, still probably better not.
I mean, he's not going to do it because, I mean, he just came out of the cube and that whole thing. But as a player, I'm really tempted to do that.
Oh dear.
Let the murder hobo flow through you.
Not murder hobo. Just annoying guards.
Prankster hobo.
Yes. Yes.
Slightly less bad.
Non-lethal, but annoying. Probably worse.
All right. As you all reach the hangar bay, Dakaya is there to greet you, and she escorts you through the hangar bay doors. And you get your first glimpse at the ship you will be flying in.
Can I tell what type of ship it is?
Probably, if I can get it to do the thing I want it to do.
Come on, roll 20. Behave yourself.
And now the website crashes and we're done for like the next 2 hours.
Now it's just mocking me.
My fault,
Wait,
not my
there's
fault.
something?
There we go. I kept moving the player tab and it just like, whoop, it fell right back to where it was. And I'm like, really?
Isn't that shit from like 2,000 or 5,000 years in the future?
Huh?
It's a turtle.
Boydle,
future
Boydle.
turtle. It's a time traveling turtle.
I don't know. It looked cool. We're just gonna say it was invented now.
It looks to
Or
be
it's
of
an old
Corellian
model.
design anyway, so it
It's
it
an old
fits.
forgotten design that no one remembers back in the future when they make it
Exactly.
Yeah, it's the old
with better
prototype.
technology.
Yeah.
Oh, this is 5,000 years. This is way before prototypes happened.
The bureaucratic red tape is that bad.
For a galaxy-sized government, I'd expect that.
Pretty much. All right, who wants to roll? Because I know you guys all want to on the ship.
With advantage or no advantage? I'm probably the one, unless somebody decided to skill in pilot and then took training for it. I'm probably the highest one right now.
I'm
I
trained
will
in piloting,
say-
technology, and mechanics.
I will say anyone trained in piloting can roll in with advantage.
But when are we rolling?
Yeah, what?
Pilot.
1 second.
What are we rolling for? I'm confused.
It would
Knowledge
seem to be-
technology.
Yep. Thank you, trained.
Knowledge technology? Oh, okay.
I get to roll again because I'm also trained in piloting. Yay.
Me too.
Yeah, because my first roll was a 2. 8's not much better, but with training, at least it hits 18.
Am I supposed to roll too?
Go for it.
If you want to know what the ship is.
I just fly them. I don't necessarily know all the details and all the specs of the bells and whistles.
Are you trained in piloting?
Yes, I have a plus 11 for
So
it.
you should re-roll.
Oh, I could do that too.
Yeah, you have advantage because you have pilot. There you go.
Wow.
What?
He knows more than either of us.
Yeah, that's with the piloting skill. That's mostly because, again, I fly
the-
them.
That's rolling pilot. I don't know if that's what you
Oh,
mean.
okay. Unless you want
Confused.
to.
Yeah. You need technology. Knowledge technology.
Yeah, you roll knowledge technology, but you get advantage because of being trained in pilot. You don't roll pilot. That's what I understood, at least.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, nat 20.
Oh.
It's even better. You know, you designed the ship.
What are you talking about? I helped test it when it was going through its paces at Nar Shaddaa.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Well, because of the rarity of this model, I was going to say anyone 20 and above will know. So, Ajax and Ayland. As far as the manufacturer, none of you are quite certain. You've never quite seen a ship like this before. It is a little strange, but what you can tell from the outer hull and the way the ship sits and just the various things that you've gathered, you have the understanding that it is a type of light freighter. Definitely denser than your average Corellian ship. It looks like it can take a bit more of a pounding than the usual. You can also tell that there are escape pods towards the back that kind of look like engines, as well as and especially Ayland. You can just tell by the symmetrical shape of the ship, that the cargo bays must be very large indeed and can carry quite a bit given its size. Compact, even though that the cockpit seems to sort of stick out from the ship, it's very its compact nature makes it much harder to destroy. With the engines being in the front, it keeps it more protected as most people are running from danger, not running towards it. It is a very impressive ship, and it's a bit of a wonder how someone like Ramai, which you thought, I mean, it didn't seem like he gave an air of having vast amounts of wealth. So either he has a lot more than you suspected, or he has made some very interesting enemies stealing this from someone who probably is going to come looking for it later, if they haven't done so already.
So in terms of the condition of the ship, does it look pretty like new and shiny, or is it like beaten up at all?
It's pretty pristine. Some places are dirty, and you notice some of the armor plate has been replaced, but it's very minor. Really, only Ayland is the one who notices this, because for the rest of you, this ship, it gives the opposite impression of the Millennium Falcon for its first view.
So yeah, and that's basically all I probably know. It's a ship and a shiny.
Alien just whistles and goes, nice.
As you do, Dakaya gives you a very proud grin as she leads you forward into the loading ramp of the ship. All right, so she leads you to the bridge. As you walk past, there are a few people loading some things up into the ship. Not too many, just a sort of a maintenance crew. Most of the things you can see they look like ration boxes, maybe a few weapons here or there, or fuel, just necessities for a ship. But it looks like this is the last of the things, and pretty soon you guys are going to be launching. As you get to the bridge, you see Ramai is in the same clothes as before, except now he has, you can see that there's a blaster strapped to his hip, and he is very focused on what he is on the console. But he hears you coming and turns around in his seat and greets you all pleasantly, saying, "Welcome, friends. Are you ready to become heroes?"
Alien will go ahead.
Smacks Barry on the side and says, I thought we were going to the Gambler.
As a gambler, you better make your request now.
I need to buy something. The store's not open. Why isn't it open?
Ah, well, that would be your armored friend there. He gave Anki a bit of a scare.
Alien just puts his hand on Ajax's shoulder and just says, there, lad. Keep it calm.
Is there anywhere else to buy grenades?
What kind of grenades were you thinking?
And this is where Aylin's jaw just hits the floor. He's like,
Because with grenades,
All I can really afford would be a frag and an ion grenade, unfortunately. I'm not exactly swimming in cash at the moment.
Tell you what, why don't you give me the credits for those grenades, and I'll have them brought to you.
Deal. It's about $450, right? For one of each.
think so.
Hands over the credits.
All right. He takes them, and then you see he talks into a comm link on his console, and after a few moments, you hear an acknowledgement, and he turns back. They'll be waiting for you in your quarters that have been set up for you.
Thank you.
Well, is there anything else? Shall we be underway?
I know nothing else, do y'all?
I wanted to note that I like the aesthetics of your ship. It looks very aquatic.
Why, thank you. She is a beauty, I'll give her that. I'm very proud of her.
Aelin just smirks. No kidding. I can tell you're a man of fine taste, that's for sure. As he gently rubs his hand over like parts of the consoles, like very envious of this ship.
Well, when you have connections like I do, and well, let's just face it, my fun nature, things like this are just, well, something you have to acquire.
Oh, but of course. Of course.
Right. Well, let's see what she can do, shall we?
How long do you think that it will take for us to reach the fleet?
He turns around and starts tapping into the console on the ship. You hear the ramp rise. You see the doors to the hangar bay start to pull. And he talks to you as he makes his final checks. It's going to take us at least a day to at least catch up to the fleet. Once we reach that point, it'll be a matter of waiting for them to come out of hyperspace. And that can only be judged once we get close enough. But you'll at least have a day to check over your gear and come up with some sort of plan. Unless, of course, you have one already.
Taz has already left to go into his room and is passed out on the bed.
As far as plan goes, nothing hard yet. I suppose we were going to discuss that on our way there. Besides, I think we were still just a little shaken off after the, and maybe a little tired after the cube.
But of course. Well, quarters have been prepared for you. We've split them up, boys and girls. I hope that you won't mind, Miss Kalani, but you'll be bunking with Takaya for the journey.
I think I can manage.
Good. Well, get yourself settled. We will be in space in probably 20 minutes.
Oh, sounds great. Look forward to seeing space again. It's been a while.
You know you can see space from the planet, right?
And lad, you do realize I have spent the greater part of 2 years in space.
Well, I'm just saying technically it's the same thing because you're, on a planet which is in space, or you're on a ship which is in space.
Artificial
see your
gravity, yeah. Artificial gravity and real gravity tend to have slight differences, and it's like a sailor getting back on the sea.
You hear Ramai laugh from the pilot seat. Mandalorians, no taste for the arts. As he says this, Dakaya gets into the co-pilot seat and starts checking some things.
Oh, that reminds me, you never really clarified how you were going to sneak us on board a ship, which I believe was part of our question that you said you could do.
Oh, of course, of course. You still need a plan for what happens once you get in the ship.
Well, that depends on where we're ending up in the ship. So I was kind of wondering on the details of the sneaking in part.
Tell you what, you and your friends relax, get some sort of plan together, and I'll adjust it to be the most conducive to that plan.
Okay. That works for me. Maybe.
Ajax will walk out.
I'll have a puzzled look at that. Obviously not understanding how that order of things works. That's just, shouldn't you follow the plan of what you do once you get there after you depending on how you get in there? But it's confusing.
Alan will
Hey.
shrug his shoulders and say, "Ah, sounds like we're gonna come up with the plan and then think on our feet."
To this, Remai simply raises a hand and gives you a two-fingered wave as you leave the cockpit.